So the tutorial 10 is talking about the anatomy of the soul. Please, if you are not using your mic, you should mute it. Okay. Welcome, Eliana Mata.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Good to meet you on Zoom. We started long ago, many years ago, together in Jerusalem, College, Africa, and you continue to be a friend and a sister. I'm so glad that we have made it to this level. We are talking about studying together in a yeshiva. You are highly welcome, and welcome everyone else.
Baruch Hashem.
So we are talking about levels of the soul. The lowest level is the nefesh, followed by the ruach, followed by another level called neshama. Then the next one is chaya, and the highest one is yechida. Those who have the handout should know that when you are reading the levels of the soul as a learner, you read from bottom, from down to up, and you see them in layers. The soul is one, but it operates at different spiritual level. The lowest spiritual level is the nefesh, followed by ruach, and so on. So it doesn't mean that the soul is 5 or 5. It's the level of the soul we are talking about. It's their level of spiritual operation. That means spiritually, some levels of the soul is higher than the others. And let's see if why we'll be talking about midot. Why are the midot not part of the 613 commandments? So we have been observing the 613 commandments, thinking that that is everything Hashem requires us to know, without knowing that we are supposed to lay a foundation upon which those 613 commandments will be observed. It's like one building a mansion, and if you build your mansion without the foundation, then that mansion is bound to collapse. Any small wind can blow and for the big house. So, like a tree without root, that is what that person is. So it is the Holy Ari that unveil this secret to us, that we are alive to rectify our soul. So those things we are rectifying at the soul are called midot, character. And those characters are engraved. They are hidden in which part of the soul? They are hidden in the lowest part of the soul, the lowest level of the soul, which is called the nefesh. Please just give me a minute. So the issue is what are the midot? What are the 613 commandments? 613 commandments, we are conversant with them, we are familiar with them, we'll be trying to observe them. But the midot sound new to us. They are like something that we've not really made the research upon. So, excuse me, please, let me. So the 613 commandments are they are also hidden in the soul of man. Then the midot, which are the character traits, are also hidden in the soul of man. There are many other things hidden in the soul of man. Even the 4 elements are like the building blocks. They have their offshoots, which is the evil character and the good character. Midot Ra'ot and Midot Tovot. All those ones are inside the soul. But what we need to know now is that where the midot are kept in the soul is not the same place the 613 commandments are kept. So what you need the midot for is not the same thing you need the 613 commandments for. So it would have been better as a human being. When we think humanly, we think it would have been better if Hashem had made everything one, both the laws and the midot, as one body of laws or body of things to be observed. But they are separated. And even in the soul, they are hidden in different parts or different levels of the soul. So the nefesh, which is the lowest one, is where the midot are hidden. The character trait, the way we behave, is rooted, is connected to the nefesh. But the observance of mitzvot is connected to other higher level of the soul, such as ruach, and so on. In case you have a question, stop me and ask me. It is already known that the soul is made up of 5 levels. Since nothing is completely pure due to the sin of Adam and Hava, there are contaminations in several levels of the soul. The first 3 levels of the soul, namely nefesh, ruach, and neshama, require rectification. So now we have 5 levels of the soul. Not knowing that it is not all the levels of the soul that require rectification. It is the nefesh that requires rectification because there are bad character inside it. Then beyond the nefesh, the ruach and the neshama also require rectification. What can rectify the lower level of the soul is the lowest level of the soul is different from what can rectify the next or higher level of the soul. Why we rectify the nefesh through the midot, it is through the 613 commandments that we rectify the ruach and the other higher levels of the soul. If there's anything you don't understand, let me know. So when we talk of purification of the soul, we are talking about the lower levels of the soul. There are levels of the soul that do not require rectification. They don't need to be purified. They're already pure. Nothing can make them become impure. For example, the chaya and the yechida. The chaya and the yechida are high levels of the soul, highly spiritual, that nothing can make them become contaminated. What is required to purify the nefesh is different from what is required to purify the next levels. The rectification of the nefesh only requires the purification of midot. On the other hand, the rectification of the next level of the soul, ruach, doesn't require midot, but it requires the observance of 613 commandments. Yes, if you observe the 613 commandments, does the observance of the 6 commandments rectify the soul? Yes. But what level of the soul? Not the lowest level. So we trying to observe the 613 commandments for years, we'll be struggling to purify a level of the soul, which is supposed to be the second step. So it is the second step will be taken as first step. So the Ari Hakadosh, the Holy Ari, is letting us know that, look, calm down. Like what happened to Moshe in the burning bush when he was called by Hashem. Hashem said, take off your sandals. That is, remove your midot, remove your lowest level. No, when someone stands, what is the lowest part of the body when it stands? It's the sandals. So remove your sandals. That is what Hashem told Moshe. So we too, before we start on the errand, we start doing anything with Hashem, we remove the sandals. What is the sandals? The midot, the nefesh, purification of the nefesh, removing of what we call midot ra'ot. So if we cannot remove the midot ra'ot, we don't need to observe the commandments. If you cannot remove the sandals, Hashem said, take off the sandals, remove the sandals. If you cannot remove the sandals, you cannot approach, you cannot go on the errand. You cannot be the messenger of Hashem. The rectification of midot can only occur in the nefesh, the lowest level of the soul. If you are asked, at what level of the soul can you repair your character? It's the lowest level. At what level of the soul do you need the 613 commandments? The next level and the next level. What the Kabbalists are teaching is that we should do what is needful. We should do what is needful to each level of the soul. One should acquire midot to draw upon him the holiness that is available by means of midot before climbing to a higher level. Go from down to up, not up to down. So we've been going up, but we did not take care of the foundation. Now it's our turn to take out the foundation. Observing mitzvot while the nefesh and midot are not refused is a wasted effort. It changes nothing. It only brings calamity to the Torah keeper. So if you are a Torah keeper, you are focused on keeping the laws, and forget about your character. It's like effort wasted, time wasted. Whatever level of rectification achieved in the nefesh affects the other levels of the soul. As one gets rid of anger, pride, lustful desire, etc., he is adding more spiritual powers to his soul. This is the custom of the Kabbalists. So we are talking about getting rid of certain things so that we'll be able to increase our spiritual power, so that we'll be able to increase holiness, KADISHA. The midot are not stationed in same location with the 613 commandments. We've said it before, that where the 613 commandments are located in the soul is different from where the midot are located. And what are we doing? We are trying to study the inner level of man, what the eyes cannot see. We are studying the soul of man, and we term it anatomy of the soul. So we try to check if the soul is made up of several things, and that's what we are trying to analyze. This is the diagram we are going to use. The diagram we're going to use. Okay. So if you have questions, I think Ima Hadassah, you are trying to ask a question. I can answer one question before we go to the next session.
Understood. I don't have any levels of this.
Tunasema
I can't hear you. I believe the network is not favorable and I can't hear you. Can any other person hear her? We can't hear you.
I don't have any question.
Okay. Thank you. Todaraba.
Yeah.
So later in the diagram, we are going to see the physical body and try to know the function of the physical body. Why is the physical body important? The physical body is the cage that keeps the soul. It is the cage that keeps the soul in the material world. The soul is not a material thing. It's a spiritual thing. It came from above, let's say so. And now that it is on earth, it cannot survive on its own. It needs a physical structure of a human being, male or female, to dwell in so that it will be able to function with the physical body to do mitzvot. Meaning, if the physical body, something happens to the physical body, the soul and the body will dismantle. The union will end and the soul will escape. So the physical body is the trap used to hold the soul to this world. That is why when someone is old and the physical body is weak, maybe at the age of 120, the soul will escape. The soul will vanish from the body, and they call it death or transition. When somebody, even though it's not old, Hashem forbid, the heavens forbid, is involved in an accident and the vibration is so strong, it can also detach the soul from the body, and they also call it death. So the physical body is very, very important in Judaism, just as the soul. Excuse me, let me answer a call.